So today is the day, guys. We're gonna start working on the Skyline R32. We're gonna start off by removing the front bumper, followed by the front lip and the front diffuser. And that is because I am getting the Panda front lip for this thing. I'm also gonna go ahead and remove the side skirts along with these carbon side pieces, but all of that should come off together. I'm also gonna go ahead and remove these rear valences here and maybe the rear diffuser, just to get those pieces lined up correctly for the Rocket Bunny kit. And then after I have that whole kit on, then I could go ahead and adjust the diffuser whichever way I need to in order to get the kit to fit right, because all the brackets are on, so that's not a biggie. The only thing that sucks is I'm gonna have to put this thing on jack stands, or at least just lift it up with the jack, remove the wheels in order for me to get to the bolts on these side skirts. I mean, I could get to them by hand, but I'd rather just remove the wheel, make everything that much easier. So I'm gonna remove 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. I believe it has one in the bottom too. 2 bolts up front. The front bumper has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts, I believe. Plus the bolts for the corner lights, but those aren't that hard to take off. But once I remove the front bumper, I think this lip has like 10, 15 bolts, and the other lip has another 10 bolts. So my goal for today is to try to get everything removed. That way I could start cutting into this thing. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Ready to see the kit. So check this out. I'm just playing, but I did take off the front OEM lip, which is now for sale, and the front carbon diffuser, which I'm gonna sell to one of my homies in Arizona. I'm gonna go ahead and send that out to him pretty soon. And I took off the GTST Type M side skirts. Let me go ahead and show you guys. So as you can see, I took off the side skirts now, and look at all that space I have compared to before. It's crazy. Before, like, the side skirt was literally almost touching the ground, or a few inches off the ground, I should say. But now it's like about 8 inches off the ground there and like 6 there. Seeing the car like this, I don't know, it looks weird. It looks smaller now. And the rear diffuser is off as well. There's the rear diffuser. I still left the brackets on there just in case, because I might reuse that one, and if I don't, I'm gonna go ahead and sell that as well. So here are the GTST Type M side skirts. These are also for sale. This one has a crack in it, and the rear valences are for sale. Look at all that gap. Looks like a monster truck now. So here are the new wheels for the Skyline R32. I ended up going with the 18 by 10.5 with the plus 15 offset all around. And actually I ended up getting the TE37 SLs, which I had before in white. But the reason I got them is because this offset is a lot smaller and they are a lot wider. I was gonna run deep dish wheels. I was gonna get the Mark IIs, the T37 Mark IIs. Everybody has deep dish wheels on their Skyline R32 with the Panda body kit. There's, I believe, a couple of people that don't, but I just wanted it to be different as well. And I didn't want deep dish wheels on the Skyline, so I'm gonna have to run these wheels right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw some, I'm gonna have to throw spacers on them. There's no way around it. But I am going to go ahead and powder coat these wheels a different color. The color is nice, but just not my style, or it's not going to match with the wrap. So I got to go ahead and get them powder coated. So here I have some 50mm spacers from GK Tech. And these are actually 2-inch spacers. If you do the math, 50 mil is 2 inches, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and test fit these with the rear wheels. I was going to test fit it with the front wheels, but I do have the 15 mil spacers, and the lug nut actually happened to strip on there, so I'm gonna have to find a way to remove that from the spacer. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and test these wheels out on the rear along with the spacer. So here it is, the GK Tech spacer, and this is 2 inches like I said before. It actually looks smaller in person. On camera, I know it looks huge, but it's actually not that big. And we're testing it out on the rear. So we're gonna go ahead and tape up the rear quarter panel and test fit the wheel to see how it fits. Man, check this thing out. These wheels poke out so much, it's crazy, especially with the lower offset and the wider wheel. Look how, I believe this is sticking out already like 3 inches off of the body of the car. These things are insane. I can only imagine what it's gonna look like once the kit is actually on. But I'm gonna go ahead and test fit the rear quarter panel and see how much space we need, or if we're good with the 50 mils. you guys are not ready for this thing. This thing is gonna look so insane once the wrap is on, the wheels are powder coated, tires on, the car slammed to the floor. This is the reason why I wanted to go with flat face wheels, is because it'll look more of a track car. But it looks like the wheel's tucking in about an inch on the quarter panel. Might just be because it's not bolted up right, but it does look like it's going to tuck more in once the car is lowered. So with that being said, I think I'm going to have to run 80 mil spacers in the rear, which would be about 3-inch spacers, I guess. So right here I ended up putting the 50 mil and I added a 1-inch spacer just to see what it would look like. Of course, I'm not going to run 2 spacers on the car. That would be kind of dumb. But drifters use these spacers. They drift. They don't lose any wheels. So I should be perfectly fine with the 80 mil. I know a couple of people that have ran them for quite a while, for a couple of years, and they're perfectly fine. So as long as you torque them to the right spec, etc. But it looks like this lines up a million times better, and it's actually going to be butt up right to the rear quarter panel. So this is perfect. This is what I want. So I'm going to have to run the 80 mils in the rear, and I'm going to have to run the 50 millimeter spacers up front. But just look at this thing. This thing looks insane. I cannot wait till this thing is done. You guys just subscribe to the channel and keep updated, because the videos are going to keep coming. I know I take a while sometimes to upload, but I promise you I will upload. Just check this thing out. You guys do not want to miss this thing. It's going to be insane. So I started removing the brown wrap on the Skyline R32, and I've addressed this before in previous videos, that this car has been repainted with cheap paint, and every time I wrap the car and peel the wrap off, it takes off more paint and more paint. So sadly, I'm going to have to resand this thing all over again. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be so much sanding. This guy over here forgot to record, but it's all good. Yeah, it's gonna be a headache sanding this thing. So the wrap is finally off of the Skyline, and the whole thing is chipped. It's bad. A lot of paint peeled off with the wrap. I swear it's like every time I remove the wrap, like it just keeps peeling off more and more paint, but it's all good. I just gotta sand it down. And if you guys could see here, you guys could see the old paint. If I were to throw water on here, you guys would be able to see the whole paint underneath this layer of primer. It looks like the primer held up super well. It's just a gloss black paint that they threw over in the clear, of course, that just keeps coming off with the wrap. And like I stated before, I believe Japanese Classics sold the car to the previous owner, but oh well, we're not here to talk about that. Just got to sand the whole car down, make it look good again, and wrap over it once more. I swear that there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have to take this thing to a body shop and just have them sand the whole thing down and repaint it. All right, so these fenders right here, I'm not gonna sand that much because the over fenders are gonna go over that. Same with the rear, so I really don't have to worry too much about those. But the hood is bad as well. So yeah, pretty much I gotta sand everything. I said it a million times, I know, but just gotta do it. All right, so the Skyline is finally sanded down. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go over the whole thing a couple more times just to make sure there is no lines and all the lines get faded out and it's completely smooth. No bumpiness, no nothing. So I'm gonna, like I said, the rear quarter panels I really did not worry too much about. I did sand them down a little bit. I just wasn't too worried about those. So same with the fronts, but I got most of it sanded down. I'm just gonna have to go over, like I said, I'm just gonna have to block it and make sure it's completely smooth and line free, I guess you could say. Just fade it out so you don't see like any waviness or dents underneath the wrap. So the Skyline is finally done. The next step is to cut the rear quarter panels, weld them, seam seal them, and then go ahead and paint that. I was gonna start wrapping it, but I don't want the welding excess to get all over the wrap, so I'm gonna wait to cut the rear quarter panels, and then I'm gonna wrap it and wait for the kit, because the kit is getting fixed. So once that is done, I'm gonna start wrapping all those pieces. I'll probably start wrapping the pieces that I do have now in the meantime, but other than that, I have to wait. I'm still waiting for the 80 mil spacers and tires, maybe tire lettering, we'll see. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep updated because the videos are going to keep coming. Once again, Ed Range, peace.